Hi, how are you, my younger brothers? I'm your elder brother, Kiran Roy. Today, I've brought a very interesting topic for you. Why does the wife's mother interfere in her daughter's life, even after marriage, in the Indian society? So, this is common knowledge for each and every one of you from the Indian society. Either you have faced it yourself after marriage, or if you have not married, you definitely heard it from your relatives, from your friends, from your neighbors. One common aspect which you must have 100% seen is that even once the marriage is over, as in the daughter has left the original, the maternal home of hers, still there is constant interference from the groom's mother-in-law. So this is like a common knowledge, ain't it? So today I'll be addressing the aspect from my psychology point of view. All of my videos are based on psychology basically. What I do is I research, I decipher, I get into the crux of the things through my knowledge of psychology, which I've been garnering since the past 26 years. I'm still a work in progress. I will never call myself a psychologist because this is my love. So much so that since the past 26 years, I've only been studying, researching, making lots of thesis, and I'm like deep down into psychology, and I'll remain the same until the day I die. I will never call myself a psychologist. I will never call myself an expert, be it in music, be it in psychology, because these are my first love. Since my college days, I've been pursuing both of them. In fact, even before that, I would say, largely due to my strong observation skills and my deep interest in psychology thereon. So if you gain anything from this video, definitely give a super thanks, which will prove handy for charity. And if you wish to book a 1:1 with me, then DM me in Instagram. Definitely take my Be Charismatic course in my Hindi channel and my Be Millionaire course over here, right here in my English channel. And if you wish to give any direct benefit to me, you can drop a 5-star rating for my Google page, which is Kiran Roy's Guitar Studio. So let's dive headlong into our topic for today. So my first point is emotional over attachment since childhood. What happens in the Indian household? Lots of women raise their daughters as an extension to themselves. Lots of daughters you will see, lots of mothers you will see, they have not been given enough opportunities. So they raise their daughters thinking that whatever I did not receive, I will ensure that my daughter receives each and everything. This was even famously said in the movie called Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, in that scene when when she catches Shah Rukh Khan and Kajol in the terrace. They were having food, they were having a good time. So she herself gives them the jewelry and they ask them to run away, because that's when she says this, that whatever happened to me, that should not happen to you. My daughter should live her life on her own terms. She should have all the happiness in her life. So please run away. So you guys can identify that scene. So this is like a very common phenomenon in Indian households, because whatever points I'm saying today, I have deciphered them through real life research basically. So what I have seen, that during the old times, there were not enough opportunities for women. So women were not given enough opportunities, be it in anything. I mean, largely not due to anything else, but largely due to their upbringing, wherein their parents, in fact, in many parts of northern India, many parts of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Haryana, this is still prevalent, that women are not given a shot. There, they are said that only the guys should be doing everything. I mean, they have set out the duties for women, that they should be behind the closed doors. I mean, they should be inside the doors, inside the house. They should be looking after the cleaning, cooking, and stuff. Whereas the boy should go out and earn the daily bread. This is still prevalent in the interiors, the rural areas, basically. This is still prevalent. I am aware of it because lots of girls because now these days girls have mobile phones, they have data connection, they watch my reels, they watch my videos, so they contact me for counseling basically. So I'm still aware because I've heard right from these women itself, from the women themselves, they themselves told me that this is still prevalent and that is the case with them as well. So that is how I'm aware, because as I said, all my content is based on real life, all everything is based on real life snippets itself. It is nothing from any textbook or any book, because I've never read a single book in my life. Because if you've joined me for the first time, I fall asleep. I mean, the moment once the moment I'm done reading even one page, I get extremely drowsy and I fall asleep. This happened throughout my life, be it in school, be it in college. Like, I can successfully read the first page. I'll somehow manage to reach the halfway through the second page, but I get so bored that I fall asleep, because I'm a hyperactive person ever since child. I've been a I've actually been a hyperactive guy. So I always needed action. So reading was not that thing. Though nothing against reading. Reading is awesome. People who read, they are doing a great job, but it doesn't suit me. So whatever I say is based only on real life observations, which I have been doing since the past 26 years. And that has started ever since I took birth, basically. But since a very tender age, I've been a strong observer. So what I have seen, that women, they think that whatever I did not get, my daughter should get. So they consider their daughters as an extension of themselves. Since they look at their daughters as an extension of themselves, they depend heavily on that daughter for their own happiness. Basically, if that daughter is doing something, she derives that happiness. Suppose if she did not get an opportunity to get educated, if the daughter is getting educated, she derives that happiness. She did not get a chance to go for a vacation with her friends. But when she sees that her daughter is going on a vacation with her friends, she derives that happiness. So she derives lots of happiness from doing the things which she personally did not get the chance. But the problem is not there. The problem starts when she gets married. Because in the Indian society, once she gets married, she is supposed to take over the reins of another family. And when she goes to another family, it is a completely different ballgame altogether. That time, it is them, their rules. They should be left to fend for themselves. It's they who should be looking after the who should be taking the reins of their own lives. But the problem is, now, since they consider their daughter as an extension of themselves, their interference continues. They will not stop. So this is what I have commonly seen happening. Also, what I have seen, many Indian mothers raise their daughters with lots of emotional dependence. They are emotionally dependent on their daughters. I'm not saying all, but lots of households, because today I'll be telling you all the options, out of which something will definitely fit. One or more options will definitely fit all of them, basically. I mean, whatever points I'll be running you through today, all of these, some or the other point will definitely fit into all of those cases, basically. So I've seen a huge emotional dependence in these mothers. Since childhood, they are heavily dependent emotionally on that daughter. So naturally, what happens when she has left her abode for a new house, in-laws house? That time when ideally it's their life, they should be looking after everything, but she can't stop herself. She still gets involved in her life and her day-to-day activities, like was the case earlier. She can't make that change, because now she's supposed to focus only on her own life, and she should let her daughter be involved in her own life, in her in-laws place. She should be looking after everything. So this is now a different family, different house, different territory altogether. So this is where ideally that mother-in-law of the groom should be focusing only on her own life. That is how it is supposed to be. But sadly, in the Indian society, they just can't stop. They will keep on interfering constantly and needlessly. My next point is lack of emotional separation post marriage. So, what happens in this case? Even once the daughter is married, the woman, the mother in question, she finds it very difficult to let go. She's still holding on to something which she considers as her own. It is her own. She will always remain her daughter. I mean, nobody can take that away. She gave birth to her. So technically, she's right when she says that she's mine, I gave birth to her. But in the Indian, if you wish to live as per the, see, otherwise live life like me. I don't follow any tradition. I don't follow any customs. I don't have never done anything which requires me to follow some particular tradition or customs. But since you have decided to get your daughter married off as per the Indian traditions, but still, if you are refusing to let go, then you are basically in conflict with yourself. You are conflicting. Either don't let her get married, let her remain at your own house, as in let her date, let her. I mean, there are so many independent women in Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata. You will see so many independent unmarried women who are CEOs, who are doing well for themselves. Then you can keep her that way. Then you will never have to let go. But in this case, they want her to get married also as per the Indian customs and traditions. But at the same time, she doesn't want to fully let go also. So basically, what happens is a big time conflict of interests. She has to do as per the society's custom also, and at the same time she is not ready to let go. So what happens? Constant interference causing big time problems. So what happens after that? The mother continues to influence the thoughts, decisions, and emotions of her daughter. Constantly, she'll be dictating her thoughts, her emotions, her decisions, and especially during conflicts, during fights, during anything which happens. See, ideally, what happens if there is a conflict between the bride and the groom at their own house? Suppose if they had a conflict, if you ask me, it's better left to the bride and the groom to sort it out. Both of them are consenting adults, both of them married, both of them got married by their own free will. Both of them are adults, both of them are capable of making their own decisions. Both of them knows what's right, what's wrong. Let them find the way out. Let them work their way out rather. Problems will keep on happening. I am a life navigator. Every single day I'm solving problems, not just in my one is to one counselings, but even in my own business, even in my own guitar factory. Everywhere I have problems every day. I've only been solving problems since the past 26 years. I've done nothing else. So even they will have their problems. Let them fight their own problems. What's the big deal? But no, these women in question will always feel the constant need to poke their noses in her daughter's problem. And what happens in the process? They completely destroy and ruin the problem. They actually amplify the problem than what it originally was at the first place. They will make the problem even worse by their unnecessary poking of their nose. The problem could have been easily sorted out by the bride and the groom in this case. But no, these women, they feel this constant need to poke their noses, to interfere in somebody else's problem, and in the process they completely ruin. Because today's, see, majority of the Indians, they're very rigid psychologically. If you ask me, they're very rigid. They don't want to upgrade themselves. They prefer living in their comfort zones. They want to live the way they have grown up. But now today's times are different. Earlier times were different. The difference between me and them, even though I am a 44-year-old guy, but why do you think I'm here and I'm training, guiding, mentoring so many youngsters? Because I have constantly upgraded myself, which you guys are aware of. I am way, way ahead of my times. Why? Why? But because constantly I'm upgrading myself. I'm required to play music in front of thousands. I'm required to teach guitars to the youngsters. I'm required to create videos for youngsters. I'm required to go. I'm invited by the big time colleges of India to give a motivation speech. So I'm constantly required to upgrade myself. So since I've been constantly upgrading myself and updating my knowledge, I'm in a very good position to guide everybody. But the problem with these mothers or fathers also for that matter, they refuse to upgrade. They are very happy the way they are. They don't want to upgrade as per today's times, like Nokia mobile phone. They did not upgrade. They went obsolete. They had to complete. They became extinct. So in today's times, a person who upgrades, they will be relevant. My channel is growing. Why? I'm upgraded. I'm updated. I'm just giving an analogy to drive home my point. But whoever is not upgraded, you know what happens. Same thing happens here. These ladies in question, they have not upgraded their knowledge as per today's times. So now there is a problem at hand. So and instead of upgrading herself, and even if she's asked for a solution, she should have upgraded herself so that she would be equipped to handle that situation at hand. But what happens in most of the cases, though their help has not even been asked for, still they will give their unnecessary bullshit theories, bullshit thoughts as per her unupgraded knowledge. And that is exactly what causes the gaps in the relationship, because they are not upgraded, they are not qualified enough to handle the. See, earlier they were qualified because she was her daughter and they were living as per her terms and conditions at her house. But now she has gone to a different house and her knowledge is not equipped because her knowledge is different. The next house whereabouts are different. How would she know what happens there? So it's better left to this couple to sort it out by themselves. But these women have no respite. They will keep on egging, they will keep on poking their nose, they will keep on getting into the scheme of things, giving their own knowledge, giving their own guidance, and in the process, screwing up the entire proceedings. So this is one of the biggest reason why these mothers screw their daughters' lives basically by their unnecessary interference. Now, my next point is slightly different. It's from the bride's perspective now. Earlier, whatever I said was from the mother's perspective, right? So now my next point is called as Ghar Ka Raz. It's from the bride's perspective, Ghar Ka Raz. What's Ghar Ka Raz? You will always see the daughters in question now. As I said, the focus is not on limelight, the spotlight rather is not on the mother of the bride. Now the spotlight is on the daughter. The spotlight is on the bride now. Now, you will see these brides in question. They will give a constant running commentary of whatever is happening in her life to her mother. How many of you have seen that? Constantly they are giving her entire whereabouts, each and every conflict that happened, each and everything that her mother-in-law must have told her, father-in-law must have told her, every single aspect she's constantly passing on the news like BBC, constantly like CNN, she's transferring the news. So what happens? Her mother, her mother in the bargain feels entitled to constantly give her opinion on each and every aspect that she has been fed. You're getting the clear connection. The daughter is constantly giving her the news of her entire whereabouts regarding that particular family. And since that's happening, she's finding herself important enough to constantly keep on giving her expert opinion to how to mend things or how to enhance things or how to ruin things. Every aspect she will keep on giving the feedback. She will be giving her inputs basically she will be transferring her inputs onto that daughter of hers, in the process completely ruining the proceedings because she's not equipped to know what's happening in somebody else's house. She's equipped only to know what's happening in her house. So her house issues would be completely different than the issues of another person's house. But she's handling her issue as per her own house. In the process, she's destroying it because one size does not fit all. I am a problem solver. I'm a life navigator professionally. I never use my same set of knowledge for everybody. That's why I personally counsel each one of them, and each one of them are given a separate solution. But that's not the case with these ladies. One size fits all is their mantra. Whatever fits in their house, they will try to pull it, pass it off even in that daughter's house. And in the process, destroying and damaging it beyond repair. My next point, which I have personally deciphered through my research, is insecurity about losing her influence over her daughter. So, this mother in question, now she fears that she'll be losing her influence and she will be replaced by her husband. You're getting the picture. The mother in question, all these years, she was the one who pulled the shot. She's the one who who was pulling the strings basically. She was in control, she was in charge. So now suddenly now the dynamics have changed because there is now a man in her life, in her daughter's life. So now is the time she feels insecure that somebody else will be taking her place, somebody else will be taking her slot, and now she won't be relevant enough. You're getting the point. Hence, to retain her emotional power, I repeat, to retain her emotional power, she keeps on interfering in her daughter's life. Point to be noted, both consciously and subconsciously. She consciously does that, no two ways about it. But many a times, which I have studied, which I have researched, they even do that subconsciously as well. So, this is a very important point which I think you should ponder over. This is one important point which many people skip, but hope you understood what I'm trying to say. If no, definitely let me know in the comments. I'll again explain it to you in another video. But you should know all these basics because all of these will prove to be very much handy for you in your future. My next point is cultural conditioning and role reversal basically. Because now the roles are different, which I'll explain you. In Indian society, the sacrifice of the mothers is glorified. Lots of movies has have been made. Mother India, this, that. Mothers are so sacrificing. But in the process, one important aspect has been overlooked. Which aspect? That is where to draw the boundaries. Where the woman should stop. That has never been glorified. That has never been educated or put forth to the ladies. They have always been glorified that mother is so sacrificing. She has sacrificed so much for the daughter. But there is always a boundary for each and every one of us. There is time and place for everything. There is a boundary for everything. There are rules. There are lines which has to be drawn. And nobody has given this knowledge to these ladies in question. So they don't know where to stop. So, what happens in our Indian society? Whatever the mother in law of the bride does, that is always villainized. They always, it has, the mother in laws are always given a bad name that whatever she's doing is wrong. Your mother in law is the villain. She is the vamp. She is the witch. But when that mother of her daughter is constantly interfering and is actually doing the work of the villain, nobody raises an eyelid. This is a very crucial point which I have personally stumbled upon on. So hope you get the picture of what I'm trying to say. Whenever I'll repeat so that it sinks in. Whenever the mother-in-law of the daughter or the mother-in-law of the wife, bride, if she does something throughout the society, it has been glorified basically that she's a vamp, she's a witch, she's the villain. They have been villainized by the society. But when that same thing is being done by her mother, society always glorifies it, saying that she has been such a sacrificing person. She has sacrificed so much for the daughter. So you can see that irony, that hypocrisy. When one mother does that, she's wrong. But when another mother of hers does that, she is right. She's all sacrificing. She's the epitome of sacrifices and so on. Hope I've made this point clear to you. Next point is a very crucial point which I've seen in almost all of the cases. Unfulfilled desires of the mothers. So as I told you earlier, these mothers in question, they always try to live their lives through their daughters. So this is what I already told you. But in this particular point, what I need to tell you is, if she has had an unfulfilling life, be it in her career, be it in her lack of freedom, be it in her marriage, she tries to exude control over her daughter's marriage to get a sense of fulfillment of whatever has been lacking in her own life. Are you getting the picture? Suppose if she has had an unfulfilling relationship with her husband, if she did not have a good marriage, she will try to constantly poke her nose in her daughter's married life so that she can gain full control over it, and that gives her that sense of being in control of a good marriage life, which was otherwise missing in her own life. Hope you got the connection. It's quite a deep point. You can go back and again listen to it. You will get the clear picture of what I'm trying to say. Now, my next point is a jackpot point, which everybody will agree. In the Indian society, the husband is seen as an outsider. The husband or the son in law of this woman are rarely seen as an emotional authority. They are always seen as an intruder by our society. In our society, only the blood relationships are glorified. The brother of the bride, the father of the bride. But the husband of the bride, what? He is an intruder. He's commonly seen as an intruder who has come and who has taken the daughter by the harsh laws of this society due to the traditions. That is one, I mean, many women harbor this feeling that somebody has, due to the traditions, I had to lose my daughter. Otherwise, I would have kept her because I gave birth to her. She would have been with me in my house. She grew up in my house. She was supposed to be in my house. But due to this tradition, somebody else has come. I've done all the hard work, but somebody else has come and taken her away to do the work in her house. Why she can't be here? So you're getting that connection. I mean, it is a, I mean, this is not a very common thing, but I have seen this happening. I've got inside the psychology of many such women, and I've seen that they look at their son-in-laws as intruders. They don't look at them as somebody who is an insider. They look at them as an outsider. So this is also one common reason why they are constantly interfering and in the process ruining their marriage. My next point is gossip ecosystem. The mother-in-laws and the daughters, as in not the mother-in-law, sorry, the mother and the daughter's gossip is legendary. It's well known. Like daughter might be living in the other part of the globe. This mother would be in India, her daughter would be in some any other part of the globe, right at the other part of the globe. But still, one thing which will never stop is the gossip ecosystem. The mother will constantly keep on gossiping about each and everything. So first their gossip revolves around her house where the mother stays. Then it will go towards the in-laws house. They will keep on gossiping about, they will keep on nitpicking, they will keep on finding faults from the house of the daughter, basically. So in the process, she influences her negatively about how to treat her in-laws, how to respect her mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law for that matter. So this gossip ecosystem feeds on themselves. As I said, first their theories, first their gossip involves around their own family, but that will soon dry out. So they will completely now go to, the gossip will revolve around her house, her in-laws house, and she will keep on talking all sorts of bullshit about her in-laws. So what happens in the process, she gets negatively influenced by her mother. She starts perceiving her own mother-in-law, husband and brother-in-law and everybody from her family as villains, because that gossip has completely changed the outlook of that woman due to her negative gossiping, basically. Because most of you must be aware that their gossips are rarely healthy. Their gossips are always negative. They are keep on complaining, finding faults about other people. And that's exactly what happens here. The mother in question finds faults of her mother-in-law, husband, father-in-law, everybody. So in the process, her mind gets completely influenced by her talks, which is completely negative, and which in the process ruins their marriage, basically. And next point is a very funny point, the silent puppet show. What I've seen in majority of the conflicts, the trouble between husband and wife has not been due to the husband. The husband was absent all the while. Instead of the husband, that place has been taken by one invisible puppet. Who is that? It is that mother of the bride. It has always been that mother and that daughter. The husband was not even a part of that conflict, but the mother has made it and turned it out to be a conflict between the bride and the groom. So you're getting that connection. Though the whole world is seeing a conflict between a man and wife, But in reality, the husband was not even present. He was not even a part of the picture. He was not even a part of the conflict. That part, his part was taken by that woman who was acting as that puppet, basically. So basically, this woman was acting as a puppet, and it was she who created that conflict in place of that husband. But it's that husband who is getting all the bad rep due to all the damage which his mother-in-law has caused, basically. Conclusion is lack of boundaries will spell destruction. See, lack of boundaries directly won't cause destruction, but first it will cause small conflicts, then bigger conflicts, bigger, it will end into divorce. So if you ask me what's the way out, the only way out is, since you have decided to, firstly, don't get married. But if you decide to get married, remember, it's now not your mother, your father, it's you with another man. I'm talking about the bride. It's not that, it's not you and your parents anymore. It's you and the husband, you and the groom now. It's you and that person whom you have married. So you should be now ready to mold into his ecosystem, because you are marrying as per Indian traditions, right? So as per Indian traditions, the woman is supposed to leave her maternal home to for the home of the husband. So if you are following the Indian tradition, then might as well follow it to the hilt. Why do you want to keep one foot here, one foot there? Do it fully or don't do it. Don't do it. If you are not comfortable with the Indian arrangement, then don't do it. Do live in, sleep around, do one night stands. Who is stopping you? Everybody is doing that. But you want to get married also as per Indian tradition. See, marriage is nothing but a traditional thing, basically. It's man-made. It's not given by, it's not a part of evolution, or it's not something which has got any relevance, which is made by universe or nature. That's a man-made social thing. So if you wish to adhere by that social thing, awesome. If you don't want to, then also awesome. But don't put your feet in both the territories. If you want to do it well, or don't do it. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.